The lamp hums over a closed book. A girl taps her pen on a stack of books. 3 of them open, spines cracked. She's been reading for hours. Everyone says talent is a gift. It's not. Taoist philosophers told a story about a wheelwright who couldn't explain his craft. When the king demanded his secrets, the old man laughed. "I can't teach it," he said. "Only my hands know." The king called him talentless. The wheelwright went back to his lathe. Modern psychology agrees. The concept of innate genius is a myth, a distraction from the real work. Researchers found that top violinists all practiced the same amount. No prodigies, no shortcuts, just lap after lap of same patterns. The girl at the desk doesn't know this yet. She thinks she's not smart enough. She doesn't see the wheelwright's hands. She sees only the closed spines of 10,000 hours. She doesn't know the answer is on the desk, written in the margins of a book no one else reads. The floorboards are cold. A fighter kneels on a worn mat, palms pressed flat against the grain. No clock on the wall. Discipline isn't a feeling. It's a repetitive motion that scrapes the skin off your expectations. You do the same block 500 times. Stoic philosophers called this the inner citadel. Epictetus said we don't choose our circumstances, we choose how we respond. So you respond by showing up when you don't want to. The 10,000-hour rule gets misquoted. Gladwell didn't say talent didn't matter, he said practice mattered more. The violinists didn't have magic fingers, they had calluses. Motivation is a flood that dries up. Habit is a slow drip that carves rock. You can't wait for the flood. The fighter stands. She wipes sweat from her brow with a rough towel. The mat feels the same every day. This is the first path. Not the easiest, but the only one that guarantees progress. But what happens when discipline becomes a cage? When the repetition turns into a prison? The answer comes from a different room. A rock sits in a raked sand circle. A monk watches the wind smooth the ridges for hours without touching them. That's surrender's first lesson. You don't master by forcing. Water doesn't decide to carve the canyon, it just flows downhill year after year. The path of least resistance never loses. Taoists call this Wu Wei. Effortless action. It's not laziness, it's knowing when to act and when to wait. The CEO who stops micromanaging gains control by trusting. The bamboo bends in the storm. The oak tree snaps because it refuses to flex. Surrender is strength shaped like stillness. But you can't fake surrender. The ego wants credit for letting go, and that's still holding on. Real release feels like a breath. A pause. The rock stays still as the sand settles around it. The question isn't how to push harder, but when to stop pushing. A workshop in late afternoon. The master stands by the window as sawdust drifts to the floor. A worn plane rests on the bench. This is where mastery gives itself away. The master doesn't hold the tool. He passes it across the bench to the apprentice, palm to palm, and watches the kid's first cut wobble across the pine. That wobble is learning. The ancient Japanese idea of shokunin is the doing, not the done. A craftsman doesn't carve a bowl to own it. He carves it so it can hold rice for someone else. The bowl exists for the eater. Service isn't charity. It's the loop that turbocharges growth. Every time you teach, you see your own gaps. Every time you build for another, you build yourself. The master doesn't seek credit. He knows his authority grows not from what he claims, but from what he gives away. The student who surpasses the teacher is the teacher's true legacy. But service has a trap. Give too much, you burn out. Give only to be seen, you stay small. The balance is a razor's edge. The apprentice finishes the cut on the bench. The master picks up the plane and checks the grain. Then he hands it back and walks toward the door. No words. Dawn. A man stands on an empty street. He holds a coffee cup in one hand, a phone in the other, scrolling through lists he'll never finish. 3 paths. 1 choice. The first path is the grind. You push until your fingers bleed and your eyes burn at dawn. But grind without direction? It's just destruction. A lamp flickers above him. The second path is the system. It's the algorithm, the network, the formula that turns practice into leverage over years of cold repetition. It scales. But a machine without a soul is nothing but noise. A bus passes, its windows dark. The third path is the gift. You teach what you know, give away your best work, let it live in someone else's hands. That's the shokunin loop. It multiplies. Now these 3 paths converge right here, on this intersection. The man sees them clearly. The grind, the system, the gift. He's been scrolling for years, waiting for a sign. There is no sign. The light is green. His coffee is cold. So which path gets your feet moving at dawn? No one else is coming. The choice is yours.